Hi, Chef Lieu here. Now, recently I was hospitalized for 4 days, 3 nights at the hospital for food poisoning. And during my stay, there are 3 things that came to me, and that's what I want to share with you. Now, the first thing is that it doesn't really matter what are the houses or the cars that you drive. When you are sick, and when I mean sick, you don't have to be critically ill. It's just as simple as a food poisoning that actually limits your mobility, and having you to go to toilet like more than 10 times in a day, aside from the fact that you need to sleep, right, it's already bad enough. At that point, you really don't care whether you have a BMW or you are driving a Myvi or you are driving a Proton, right? So it really does not really matter anymore. So no matter what are the luxury stuff that you got, no matter how big is your house, when you are really sick, basically a hospital room is a hospital room. Now, I was staying in a 2-bedded room now because they don't have, at a point I was being admitted, they don't have like a single bedded room, which I'm entitled to, which I'm totally fine. So I was sharing this with another roommate for around the same period. And the second thing that I've learned is that it really doesn't matter when what you do, but it really matters a lot to have a sense of purpose in what you do. Now, let me share you during my stay that my roommate, what I found was he was working at a multinational company that is called Lieu, right? And I think he was a purchaser, because during his stay he was having conversations. Someone in the office was calling him and he was answering calls, and he was talking about terms that I can understand, that he was working in a purchasing department. Now, the thing is, he's just unlike myself, where I'm running my own business, right? If you are the employee working for a company, normally this is where you say that screw it, screw my company, screw my boss, I'm not going to care anymore because I'm on MC anyway, I'm on medical leave. But still, he actually brought his laptop and reply to emails, and also give instruction like how to do this and that to his colleague, or maybe his manager actually call him for updates and all that. And I can see that he really cares about whether things are moving or not. So it's not about what he should or should not do. It's more like, I think he really does his job, that's for one, and he really feel a sense of purpose in what he do. Otherwise, when you are hospitalized, and he's hospitalized from the conversation I had with him, he was hospitalized for dengue fever, right? Normally, hospitalization means that you don't work anymore. But for him, because I think he still feel a sense of purpose in what he do, therefore, he was actually working during, I was working as well. And during my stay, the 3rd and the 4th day, when I was better, it doesn't really prevent me from having one-on-one meetings or advisory sessions with my clients. So that is one thing that separates between someone that actually feel purposeful in what they do versus someone who don't. Now, you could be working in a job, you don't have to be in a business, you don't have to be like working on something like a big audacious goals like saving the world and all that. But my point is, if you feel purposeful, the way you approach things is different, and every one of us need to have a purpose. If it's your work, that's totally fine. You don't have to do your own thing, a business or all that, but it's very important to have a sense of purpose. And the third thing is, during my stay in the hospital, I also came across this short clip about a Malaysian that is in the show called Shark Tank. Shark Tank, in case you didn't know, it's a show. It's the entrepreneurship show in the US, whereby they get pictures from startups for these so-called sharks, or those billionaires, to actually invest in their company. And this lady is who happened to actually be a Malaysian, and that's what it interests me. I think by the time I actually have this up in YouTube, this would have seen it. This would have gone viral. I think local news would have covered it. This lady was in the show. By the way, she's a Malaysian, and she actually shared her story, how she came to, she first came to the America, the US, and how she actually, what is her story. And it is just a very short, like less than 3 minutes kind of clip. But the moment I watch it, it had me cry. I really like, I feel like there's not a lot of things that can make me like feel some like really emotion inside, to the point that I feel wet in the eyes. But imagine if you share your story, and your story can make not only one but multiple billionaires actually cry. You have to watch this clip.
Amber, what is your backstory?
My personal background, so I'm originally from Malaysia. I grew up pretty poor. The house that I lived in didn't have indoor plumbing. But I always had the dream of coming to America. I think too many episodes of Full House. And when it was time to go to college, I told my parents I wanted to come to America. And they said, okay, let's do this together. They cashed out their retirement fund. They borrowed money from their family and friends to send me to school here on a one-way ticket and school fees and living expenses for one semester. But they gave everything they could to me. So like that is how much faith they have in me. 9 months after coming to America, I was diagnosed with toxic shock syndrome. I was given a 50% chance of surviving, but my parents couldn't come because they didn't have an American visa. But I survived, and that was a gift. It gave me a new perspective in life. And it made me ask myself, what am I going to do with my one wild and precious life? So I went to grad school. I got a 6-figure job, and I gave back. I sent money home, and when I have enough savings, I asked myself, I want to do something courageous. I have to take a chance. So I had this idea, and I need to choose creativity over certainty. And that drives and motivates me every single day. How lucky and blessed am I?
Great.
Thank you.
You represent why we all do this show. You represent to everybody in America, everybody around
American
the world
dream.
that watches this show, that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you put your mind to it, anything is possible. You represent everything great about entrepreneurship, the American dream. You are freedom. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's just
No
incredible.
balls, no babies.
Amen, baby.
You see, the difference, the third thing that I learned from here is that it really doesn't matter how much you have or how much you inherit from your parents or your rich family and all that. Some people can raise money two ways. This is the really legit way to raise money. It's by adding and providing value. Of course, those sharks ultimately invest into her company. Now the thing is, there's also another way to raise money, which is to actually cheat the whole entire country like someone did out of 2.6 billion, and then use it on themselves and then buy like luxury cars, luxury paintings or whatever, right? Spend it on alcohol, spend it on parties. So that is another type of person, which usually comes from pretty good background too. But you see, the upbringing and the values which I believe instilled by the parents are very important, are very, very important. But the final thing, the one more thing that I caught what she said, this lady Lieu say in this clip, is that once she had enough, she had a 6-figure job and then sent money home, right, to her parents in Malaysia. Once she had enough, she knows that she had to choose creativity over certainty, and she had this enlightenment, so to speak, because she, as you can see, she had a moment whereby she either die or she either live, because she had this condition whereby there's 50% chances, and she actually survived, and that give her not to exaggerate, a new perspective in life. So you don't really have to actually almost in a situation where you cheat death and you are in a life or death situation to come up and realize that you have a new perspective of life. No, just by having a situation where like I was down with food poisoning, hospitalized, and that sometimes is enough for me to actually say that, hey, what is the things that I want to do moving forward. And why I want to share this with you is because at the time of this recording is 2019. Many of you don't know that if you're watching this, I first started my blog in about 2011 or 2012, right? Around the same time when I was hospitalized. Now I was only hospitalized for twice in my entire life of almost like 40 years, right? I was only hospitalized twice. First time is when I first started my blog, howtofinancemoney.com, and the second time was this moment when I'm recording it. So it's a very good coincidence because it gives me the time spent between what happened there, which in 2012, and what happened now, 2019. Just a short span of 7 years. A lot of things have changed. I've actually transitioned from a career as an engineer to someone who are doing what I'm doing now as you are watching this. So it's still, no matter what you do, once you put your your heart into it, I think ultimately with the persistent discipline, you will succeed. I'm not saying that you'll be highly successful, like become a billionaire, but at least you'll be happier and you'll be more fulfilled, right? And that is the journey that I walk through as well. Now I hope this sharing has been useful. Comments below if you have any question. Let me know what you think also in the comments below. Subscribe to CF Lieu channel, click on the subscribe button, and click on like if you feel this sharing has been useful and something that resonates with you. I'm CF Lieu, and I'll see you in the next lesson.